Hello, welcome to a new unboxing and quick analysis. Today will be a new mini micro-size quadcopter, a new FPV quadcopter. So after the excellent Epson H107D, here is the Q242, well in fact it's D42 from WLtoys. So this is nothing else than a micro quadcopter size, equipped with a very small HD camera on front, able to also to broadcast FPV signal in the 5.8 GHz frequency band. So it comes in a white and green edition, and as you may notice on this photo, on the right, the transmitter and the videos FPV monitors are shared in the same platform. So what you will find in the box, okay, I will start with the quadcopter. First of all, this is nothing else than the Q242. So it's a micro size, okay, usual, the props are typically usual, the motors are 8.5 mm by 20, so they are coreless motor, they are typical used for this kind of platform. They are very strong and powerful for the ratio of the weight versus thrust of these motors, and you can find on the bottom part explicitly here the 5.8 GHz antenna. Okay, this is a linear one, and on the front one you will be able to find the lens. Okay, I will show that it's a M6 format, unfortunately I will say. So it's a 5.8 mm in diameter, so it's an M6 lens mount. It means that it would be very hard to find a wider lens to install instead of this one. Okay, and well, the battery bay is huge, and on the background you can find a connector associated with this LiPo. So now with this model, the LiPo come in this kind of DJI Phantom style, so with a kind of proprietary battery. But in fact the connector is an GST XH1. Okay, so be aware of the polarities of this one versus the classic GST XH are inverted. Okay, so if you use an external charger, be aware to inverse. So it's pretty easy to install your battery, just push and press and it's done, voila. Okay, and you have the LEDs flashing, and to retrieve, you have just pull on it. So this small part of plastic, the notch one, I think versus time will break by pushing, remove it, because you have to press on it to release the LiPo battery. So it's a 400 mAh, one cellular one, no discharge rate mentioned. Okay, so it's hidden. I have to disassemble it. You have some two tiny screws here, so I guess you can replace this model with a larger one, and it's probably a nice option, but be aware to inverse the sense of priorities. You will be able to find this radio transmitter. Okay, so how to fill it? It's provided one cellular 500 mAh battery coming in GST connectors this time, and as you can see, you have plenty of free room to install a larger model if you want to extend your flying time, at least with the FPV monitor. So it's a gamepad style. Okay, it's large, I like it. You have this nice plastic to grab it very easily, and well, you have a lot of trim button and two shoulder button. Okay, the good news, as soon as you turn on the transmitter, you will see the white snow. It means that you don't have any blue or black screen in your 5.8 GHz video transmission. That's pretty good news. So you won't lose suddenly the signal when you will be out of the range in terms of video or link. So what I like also, you can see the angle of vision is quite good, and even it's a bright screen, it's much better versus the former generation of WLtoys FPV monitors. I think they improved a little bit the brightness, okay, of this monitor is much more visible in Sunday conditions, thanks also to the sunshade. You have two shoulder buttons, okay, left and right. In fact, each of them got two functions if you press on left or right. Okay, so if you press the left shoulder button on the left, it's cycling between the 3-speed mode. 3 beeps, I'm in expert mode, beginner mode, 2 beep, intermediate, and expert mode. Okay, so and the right click on this left shoulder button is to activate flips. Okay, you have this beep emitted and you have to indicate in which direction to flip, for example, to the right. This right shoulder also have two functions. So if you press up, you can turn on or off the video recording. Okay, and if you press down, the camera functions. Okay, so you have also the headless mode and the return 1K return. So to access to it, I don't have any instruction manual, but I expect is that you have to click on the right stick, and you have this beep emitted, meaning that you are entered in headless mode. Okay, you have to press again to exit it, and if you right click, you left click on the left stick, you actionate the 1K return, and the quadcopter more or less will return up to your direction. You have to know this kind of features versus time are more and more inaccurate, because the quadcopter versus time is integrating your trajectory, and you have to know that the inertial central are giving more and more less accurate results. So this function, you don't have to abuse it, at least after a few minutes of flight. Okay, so these buttons are basic trim button. What also it comes with a bag with some spare props, a USB charging cable. Okay, that's good, with two type of connector, one GST for the LiPo of the FPV monitors like this, and the other one, this GST-XH for this quadcopter LiPo. Finally, you have also already entered it. You have a 4 GB micro SD card. It's a little bit hard sometimes to insert it, okay, but it's good. And an USB charging, USB micro SD reader. Sorry. Okay, so we'll make a more demonstration how good is the FPV's transmission. So I will turn the quadcopter. Okay, and it's fixed. As you can see, in real time the image is pretty good. Okay, as you can see, you can notice that they improve a lot the angle of vision. Okay, I accentuate the angle. It's pretty good. So, and in daylight condition is much better. Here you have the capacity in terms of length of video file recorded, and I say if you press on it, you are starting the recording. Okay, so you have an HD ready camera, and maybe you can notice that while it's recording, you have a frame rate drop. I will estimate something like 17-18 frames per second while it's recording. Okay, I will stop recording. You will see the difference in terms of fluidity is much more fluid, and the frame rate increased to 30 frames per second in this condition. So unfortunately, a frame drop while recording, maybe because you have the processor unit is not strong enough. On the left side, upper left side of the FPV monitor, you have the LiPo battery voltage of the transmitter. No telemetry feedback of your quadcopter, so you don't know the level of battery of your quadcopter. Well, you can see also that you have some LEDs, red on rear and the green for the camera. So if I'm pressing recording, it's turning to red and flashing. Okay, I stop recording, and if I press on the photos, the photo is here, is becoming red a fraction of a second. Okay, so when you took a pictures, you have the amount of lifting photos you can take in the 4 GB micro SD card. So no arming sequence in this quadcopter, so it's directly armed. I will make a small demo. You will see it's pretty stable. You will be able to see both. So it's perfectly fluid, as you can see on the FPV monitor. Okay. Notice that the length of view, the field of view is pretty narrow. You have something like 60-70 degrees, but it's pretty stable. So I wish you have to check my other video, but the yaw is proportional to the is not proportional, sorry, to the speed mode. But I am in expert mode now. You see that the rate is pretty good. I really like how stable is this quadcopter. Really, I like it. So I'm recording actually on the FPV monitors. I hope you can see. Okay, I will stop recording. So the camera lens is more or less okay to capture a moderate light variation. So the transition between the low light and strong light in average. So I will estimate the light sensitivity around 0.5 lux if this measurement remind you something. Well, I would say that two main drawbacks in this video platform is the size lens, not fantastic at all. Okay, it will be very hard to install a wider lens. And why? Because it's an f6 format, and the main reason I will say that instead to use a ribbon cable inside the video transmitter, at least to connect the lens sensor to the video transmitter, usually they are using a 24 pins ribbon cable. Now they directly solder the lens sensor to the video board. That's the main problem. It means that you won't be able to install a 808 J16 lens out of the box as we usually did for such kind of FPV platform. So for me it's the main drawback of this one. Well, the range is pretty good. The radio protocol is based on the XN297. I tried to bind most of the protocol with my last build of my Devo controller. I was not able to bind any of existing protocol. So again, they change again the protocol, but I'm sure it will be fast to hack it. So that's another drawback of this model, but it will be solved versus time for sure. So, the control range is pretty good. You have something like 60, 70, 80 meters really easily. And as you already know, I like to install the antenna vertically. It's pretty easy. You have to drill a small hole. Good news, the maintenance, so you can really easily disassemble this quadcopter. Just unscrew 4 screws there and to unclip this notch there, and it comes very easily. So what I like in this quadcopter is the stability of this one is punchy. The flying duration is great. You have something like 5-6 minutes while recording. That's pretty good. At least 5 good minutes while recording. The video quality is pretty good in HD ready, 720p resolution. Just the light sensitivity is a little bit weak, but the color rendition is great, and that's a very good point of these sensors. So I will conclude. This quadcopter for me is a good first FPV platform. The question is as good as the Epson. It should be more or less the same as Flyer is at least as good. The FPV monitor is great. I like it. It's pretty cheap. That's a good point. It's very cheap. Something like $80 if I'm not wrong. It's strong. It's wind resistant. The control range is pretty good, largely enough to do basic FPV. But for me the main drawbacks as usual is the lens mount, the impossibility right now, maybe by a feature mode, to install a wider lens. Of course you can always glue a wider jelly lens on it, it will work, but it will reduce the light sensitivity a little bit. So really I like this model, and please WLtoys install at least a wider lens in this kind of model. To fly FPV it's very important. A 120 degrees of field of view should be perfect. Or the first company who will design an M6 wider lens will make a lot of money for sure. So I will end this unboxing. Well, I didn't show the calibration procedure, but I think it's to push both sticks in lower right position. But I will end this unboxing. So if you like this video, please submit. If you like my channel, please subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.